Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayan Mudirayet. There's a beat back. Nastaprayesu Bhatresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So I beg the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and seniors so that I can speak from Srimad Bhagavatam truthfully, beneficially and pleasingly, especially for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26, entitled King Puranjana Goes to the Forest to Hunt. And text is number 15. So there are 6 lines, kindly repeat. Natatai tarhiro chante Krihesu kriha sampada Yadina syad krihe mata Patniva pati devata Vyangeran ratha iva pragya Ko namasita dinavat Natatai tarhiro chante Krihesu kriha sampadaha Yadina syad grihe mata Patni va pati devata Vyangeratha iva pragya Ko namasita dinavat Natatai tarhimro chante Grihesu kriha sampadaha Yadina syad grihe mata Patni va pati devata Vyangeratha iva pragya Ko namasita dinavat. Next please. Yes. Tatai tarhiro chante Grihesu griha sampada Yadina sampada Patniva pati devata Yanirata iva pragya Sita dinavat. Natatai tarhiro chante Grihesu kriha sampada Yadina syad grihe mata Patni va pati pati devata. Yangerata iva pragya. Onamasita dinavat. Tataitar hirocante. Nataitar hirocante. Grihesu griha sampada. Yadinasyad grihe mata. Nataitar hirocante. Grihesu griha sampada. Yadinasyad grihe mata. Diva pati devata. Yangerata iva pragya. Onamasita dinavat. Tataitar hirocante. Grihesu griha sampada. Diva pati devata. Yangerata iva pragya. Onamasita dinavat. Nataitar hirocante. Grihesu griha sampada. Na, not. Tata, like before. Etarhi, at this moment. Rocante, become pleasing. Grihesu, at home. Griha sampada, all household paraphernalia. Yadi, if. Na, not. Syat, there is. Grihe, at home. Mata, mother. Patni, wife. Va, or. Patidevata, devoted to the husband. Vyange, without wheels. Rathe, in a chariot. Iva, like. Pragya, learned man. Ka, who is that? Nama, indeed. Asita, would sit. Dinavat, like a poverty-stricken creature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjana said, I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think that if there is neither a mother nor devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? Kindly repeat. King Puranjana said, I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think that if there is neither a mother nor devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? Purport. The great politician Chanakya Pandit said, Mata yasya grihe nasti bharya cha priya vadini aranyam tena gantavyam yatharanyam tatha griham. If a person has neither a mother nor a pleasing wife at home, he should leave home and go to the forest, because for him there is no difference between the forest and home. The real mata or mother is devotional service to the Lord, and the real patni or devoted wife is a wife who helps her husband execute religious principles in devotional service. These two things are required for a happy home. Actually, a woman is supposed to be the energy of the man. Historically, in the background of every great man, there is a mother or a wife. One's household life is very successful if he has both good wife and mother. In such a case, everything about household affairs and all the paraphernalia in the household becomes very pleasing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had both a good mother and a pleasing wife, and he was very happy at home. Nonetheless, for the benefit of the whole human race, he took sannyas and left both his mother and wife. In other words, it is essential that one have both a good mother and a wife in order to become perfectly happy at home. Otherwise, home life has no meaning. Unless one is religiously guided by intelligence and renders devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his home can never become very pleasing to a saintly person. In other words, if a man has a good mother or a good wife, there is no need of his taking sannyas. That is, unless it is absolutely necessary, as it was for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Yat Kripatam Maham Vande Shri Gurundi Nataranam. So many wonderful points about successful household life here. Even though the verse itself kind of indicates that, it's time to take sannyas, or at least a vanaprastha. King Puranjana is not, he has lost his attraction to all household paraphernalia, and then there is no mother nor a pleasing wife. So, so what's the use? The problem here is that as King Puranjan himself says, that I do not understand. He doesn't understand why he has lost his attraction to household. So obviously this means that he is not actually ready. He still has, he's kind of ignorant of the situation. So we are, before coming to the devotional service, we are so much filled with ignorance and attachment to the material world. So some of us may have experienced this kind of shift from normal materialistic life when we try to take some steps towards the ashram life, leaving our old habits, old world vision behind, and then we have somehow being opened. Our eyes have been a little bit opened towards spiritual life, and then the kind of border area comes where we are a little bit invited to move in the ashram. So in the beginning this might be a little bit like a gray area. You have kind of lost attraction to normal material life, and then you try to take steps towards ashram life. So so there might be some suspicion, or a little bit one might be a little bit afraid to take that step to unknown, so to say, and move in ashram. But he should develop confidence that Krishna will reciprocate whatever we do to him. I mean, taking a step towards ashram life and the discipline of an authority and dedicating oneself to spiritual life, that's a big step which Krishna is definitely attracted to. It is said that if one takes even one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. So Krishna is attracted to that situation. And if we manage to take that step, we will gradually notice that, like it is said, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajamiham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasa. That Krishna says that I reward everyone according to their surrender. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. And everyone is following his path, Krishna's path in all respects. So we are generally filled with ignorance and attachment, and that is opposite to knowledge and renunciation, or knowledge and detachment. Like the verse in Bhagavatam says that Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Chananan Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahaitukam. So by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment to this material world. So obviously King Puranjan was in a situation that he didn't perform devotional service, but still there he was facing this facing some forceful detachment. He had to forcefully renounce something. There was funny little video clip one time, which I saw. There was one penguin which was walking on a springboard, and under the springboard there was a water pool. So the penguin walked on the edge of the springboard, and he was looking around, seeing that, okay, water is there, but it's on such a low level. No, I go back. He was afraid to jump in the water from the springboard. He was looking around, and he was going again to the springboard, see what's going on there. And there was a text also going on the video that sometimes you have a desire to pursue your goals, but something is holding you back. You're afraid to go towards your goal. So, though again the penguin walked back on the mainland, and he was still looking around, curiously seeing what's going on. And third time he also again walked on the springboard. Now there was a text that you might need a little push to to getting the goal which you actually desire. And then after some point one foot of the penguin slipped, and he bumped on the springboard and with his behind, and then splash, he dropped in the water. So we might be in this kind of, we might have experienced this kind of situation that sometimes material nature arranges us to go further in life, and actually we should always be confident that Krishna has everything in his hands, and he knows what we are after, and he knows what we need. He also knows what we desire, but that may always not go hand in hand with what Krishna sees as what we actually need. And this was also in the case of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had I wouldn't say troublesome, but not so easy household life. So, and then he meets his spiritual master and becomes inspired by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's character and teachings. So he started to help the devotees more and more, and he actually became very much acknowledged about the final, the actual goal of human life, and began to preach. And he also had an idea, because his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta gave him an instruction to preach in English language to the Western world. So he thought that he needed some money for that. So his idea was to go on with his business and gather large amounts of money so he could print books and follow the order of his spiritual master, print books and and distribute them widely. But it so happened that his marriage failed, and his assistants robbed him from his property of his business. So he kind of lost everything. Actually before that he was seeing dreams about his spiritual master asking him to take sannyas and preach with me. So Prabhupada was very, very much afraid of these dreams. But then it happened that he lost everything. And then he was just reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and he came across this famous verse which is there in the 10th canto. in a discussion between Maharaj Yudhishthira and Krishna. Yasyaham anugrihnami harisya tadam shanai tatodanam tyajjantyasya svajana dukha dukhitam. If I especially favor someone, Krishna says, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. And when Prabhupada was reading this, he was already in a state of consciousness that he just laughed. Now he could understand everything. His plans failed. Now there's a saying that how you can make Krishna laugh, and yeah, okay, and so you know everything. That's a very attractive suggestion to try to make Krishna laugh, and that's another way to reciprocate with Krishna. But how to make Krishna laugh? Tell him your plans. So even Srila Prabhupada, he had his plans to accumulate lots of money with his business, but that failed. But at the same time, he had a prediction from childhood that he would be the richest man in India. So the history shows how he was able to spread the movement and get a lot of money for Krishna's service. So there's a comparison of three kinds of personalities: a fool and a devotee and a materialist. And it was compared that the fool and the devotee, they can be very happy in this world. But the materialist is full of anxiety, and that goes together with the, as I was saying before, about the ignorance and attachment versus knowledge and renunciation. So materialist is full of anxiety because he is ignorant and attracted to this world. That attachment to this world creates so much anxiety. He's making plans to achieve so many things in this world for his sense enjoyment and for his expansions of sense enjoyment. And he is ignorant about the final goal of the supreme goal of life, the meaning of life. Then the fool can be happy because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what the attachment to this material world is, and he has no knowledge about any means of pursuing for his goals, so, because he's a fool, and so he's happy being as a fool. But a devotee, devotee is also happy, but there's a difference between fool's happiness and the devotee's happiness. So there's no attachment to this world for a fool, neither for a devotee, but the fool is ignorant, whereas a devotee is knowledgeable about the goal of life. And practically devotee would understand that he doesn't have to worry about anything because he knows that everything is in Krishna's hands anyway. Everything is Krishna's property, and all he has to do render service to Krishna and use all the Krishna's energy for his service. So no worries. So attachment causes anxiety. as soon as you get something, you are afraid when are you going to lose it, because it's material world, temporary by nature, so you are definitely going to lose everything you have, including your own body. Even the body will fall apart at one point. So the devotees are, in our system we are cultivating the idea of renunciation or becoming detached to the material world. And this would be actually very helpful. But now here in this verse, it appears that King Puranjana has lost everything. But still there's no loss actually. Unfortunately, King Puranjana doesn't seem to be understanding this. But because it is said in a song that Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran, that even though you don't have any family or relatives, Krishna is your mother and Krishna is your father, and Krishna is the treasure of your life. Maybe we can understand that husband would consider his wife as a treasure of his life, but actually Krishna is our ultimate treasure in life. So if a husband loses all of these, still there's no loss, because there's always Krishna. And as time goes by, we are going to lose these relationships in the material world. Just like waves of a river are gathering a bunch of straws together. After some time, those same waves of the river, they are separating these straws. That is our relationships in this material world. Basically, we come together for some seemingly unknown reasons, and after the life is gone, we are separated from each other. So there's no actual reason to become attached to anything. So also yesterday we spoke about that saintly person doesn't delight in sources of misery which are due to the contact of material senses. So in this material world we are looking for happiness from external things, things which are coming outside of our body. But it's amazing that actually, well, these things outside of body, they have a temporary nature. Like you see a new set of clothes in a shop window and you become attracted to them. Then you just wait for the next salary so you have money to go and buy them. And you feel some happiness for some time when you are wearing them. But after some time, those clothes will wear out, or some accident happen, you fall and you get a hole on your pants, or something happens. So the interesting thing, if we examine very closely, that feeling of happiness is coming from inside of us. It's not that there's some happiness energy vibrating from the objects of our senses into our consciousness, but the feeling of happiness is it triggers the happiness feeling from inside of us, and therefore we think that this external thing is bringing me happiness, but there's a source of happiness inside of you. And the temporary things from outside the body, because they are temporary, after some time, when they are broken or lost, or somebody eats it, or something happens, so it also brings misery, and that's also felt inside of us. So the question is how to get that happiness without the misery. So we just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And don't worry about the external things. Understand their nature. External things are just temporary. So because the materialist is ignorant about this, so he thinks that the body is all in all, and good condition of the body, how much one can enjoy with the body, that's the ultimate goal of life, that's the essence. But a devotee understands that even this body is temporary, and it's actually limiting us for performing devotional service. The body is limiting us. Very enthusiastic devotee might understand that, might want to serve Krishna more and more, go on Harinams for 25 hours a day. But body is limiting for us to do that. Like Prahlad Maharaj preaches to his schoolmates that half of life is wasted by sleeping. So the body has to be put in a sleep, and it has to be fed. Well, luckily we have prasadam, but which is another form of devotional service. But the body is limited. Therefore, there's an analogical statement that the material world is like a toilet, and we should take it as such. Just finish your business and get out. Unfortunately, a materialist doesn't understand the problematic situation of the material world. When I was a new bhakta and going on the streets, I met one alcoholic person, and he told me his story that he was actually a doctor. Doctor means like a medical doctor. He was well educated, but he had a very beautiful and lovely wife, and the wife died. So he was so much attached to his wife, so he couldn't bear the situation, so he became an alcoholic. Some years back there was also kind of a wave where the thing was that old people were kind of neglected by their children, and they were just left alone in their own apartment, and therefore they became so depressed that they started committing suicide. But so this is the problem of the world. The people are driven to this kind of situations because they don't know. They are ignorant, and they are attached to things that they think that they should be confronting in this world in order to be happy, namely different varieties of sense enjoyment. So we should learn how Krishna is actually everywhere, and we have a relationship with Krishna which needs to be evolved. Krishna is in every atom. And antarasta parumana cha antarastam, Lord Brahma prays. And Prabhupada expands that Krishna is even between every atom. And our body is consisting of atoms. All we see is atoms all around us. So where is Krishna? Krishna is everywhere. But this material world is made in such a way that we have been given a chance to think that there's no God, no Krishna. And that creates an interesting situation here to try to see and try to perceive Krishna everywhere. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they give some primary ideas. If we are not able to understand Krishna as he is, at least there are some some ways to try to perceive it. Like Krishna says that I'm the light of the sun, of the reservoirs, I'm the ocean. All the trees are like a Supreme Personality's bodily hair. And I'm a taste in water. Everybody is drinking water in one form of another. So in this kind of perception of Krishna everywhere, we can become enthused with Krishna's presence, and therefore that we get the drive to start serving Krishna in varieties of ways. Like Rupa Goswami lists these 6 things favorable for devotional service, and it begins with enthusiasm. One needs to be enthusiastic, and if somebody is Krishna conscious, that enthusiasm is very automatic. Just those who are initiated, just think of your own Gurudev coming to your temple. Immediately there's some enthusiasm, vibration rising in your consciousness, and you're making plans to get very busy very soon. So therefore it's a very great blessing that we have a spiritual master who is in this way, who is transparent via media to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we can experience this divine enthusiasm with devotional service. So we could try to learn to see Krishna everywhere, because Krishna is everywhere. There's nothing else but Krishna. But as soon as we walk out, we see the beautiful deity form here in a temple, but as soon as we walk outside, are we perceiving Krishna? Outside the temple, we are also reciprocating with Krishna with his universal form. But we learn from Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna was very much afraid of the universal form. So in that way also it is maybe more beneficial for us to come to the temple and see the beautiful form of Krishna here in a temple, until we manage to come to that platform that we are really able to see Krishna everywhere and in everything. And meanwhile, we perform the Yuga Dharma enthusiastically by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I can stop there. Thank you very much for tolerating my broken English. If there's any questions or comments, I could try to answer. Mm-hmm.
And the uphold spirituality, and the one should uphold
how difference between man's spirituality and the husband being spiritual and the wife being religious. Following the religious principles, that's for both. But being religious, well, spirituality is like understanding Krishna everywhere, like I was trying to describe. Getting a little bit deeper of understanding philosophically and putting into practice and getting all these realizations. I heard this statement from Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj. Maybe he would be able to elaborate better. And also, as it was said in a purport by Srila Prabhupada, good wife should assist the husband in the religious activities. And therefore, the wife is getting all the benefits of the husband's spiritual advancement. And the spiritual realizations. Usually the spiritual perception is for prominent for those who are in the male body. Well, my observation is that the women or the female more easily turn towards the God, but what comes to spiritual realization and spiritual practices, it's easier for that in a male body. But we also have an example of situations which are actually vice versa. Like there's a story of Brahmana's wives getting blessed by Krishna. The husbands are doing the ritualistic religious performances, spiritual performances, sacrifices, but they don't recognize Krishna. But then the wives simply provide simple fruits for Krishna, and therefore they are actually becoming more blessed in that situation. So don't take it for granted that it's better to be in the male body. But that's kind of a general settlement. Hare Krishna. If there's anything else?
You were consulting on a verse, the one where Krishna is, if Krishna has favor, shows favor to devotee, gradually takes away these things. I was wondering, naturally when somebody receives something, they become very grateful, very happy, and naturally they thank God, thank you very much for giving me this thing. But so does that mean that if one receives these things that I don't understand how Krishna shows favor upon somebody that he takes something away, or takes things away. But when you receive something, you naturally just become grateful towards Krishna. Has it been
So when Krishna takes away from your property, is that kind of you are not favored by Krishna for receiving it. Well, first of all, there's an interesting settlement that Lord Shiva is very poor. He is like a poverty-stricken, like a dirty, externally dirty, seemingly dirty. But his followers, his worshippers, they get rich. But Krishna's worship is totally vice versa. Krishna is the rich person who has everything, and his servants are very poor, poverty-stricken. Well, this is just an idea that a person would take very sincerely shelter of Krishna, not from not being allured by the material energy in any way. But as I was also describing a life experience of Srila Prabhupada, he lost everything, but then he gained much more than he would have been able to gather with his own own endeavors as a business maker. But a devotee being grateful for what Krishna provides him, what would devotee use what Krishna provides him anyway? He would use it for Krishna's service. Being grateful, of course we are grateful for Krishna, whatever he provides for us, but just remember that it's not about us, it's about Krishna. I'm just thinking of like a Prabhupada criticized the Christian term, oh God, give us our daily bread and we'll be thankful to you. But and he was indicating that Christians think of Krishna as a baker. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are meant to please Him. What would you thank for? Thank for me being able to facilitate my pleasing you. So it's not about us, it's about Krishna. Alright, anything else? If there's nothing, then Krantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.